Gun control activists stormed Tennessee state capitol in Nashville after a trans shaman joined occupation of Kentucky legislature as fears of a left-wing uprising loom ahead of Trans Day of Vengeance. Gun control activists were seen storming Tennessee's state capitol Thursday amid rising fears of a left-wing uprising at a rumored protest in Washington, D.C. Footage of the insurrection shows progressive protesters battling with cops as they attempted to gain access to the legislature in Nashville. Hundreds of people were seen inside the lobby and yelling from the gallery at concerned lawmakers. The protest against guns comes after transgender shooter Audrey Hale on Monday gunned down 6 people, including 3 9-year-old kids, at a Christian school in Nashville. In a separate demonstration, trans activists yesterday invaded Kentucky's state capitol in Frankfort to protest a Republican-backed bill to ban transgender procedures for children. Among the mob was a self-described genderqueer clown nun, who immediately drew comparisons to the QAnon shaman of the January 6th riot. The left-wing demonstrations come amid fears of a Trans Day of Vengeance which has been threatened for Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Twitter bosses this week rushed to remove thousands of posts advertising the protest. While most condemned the attack, which left 3 9-year-olds and as many school staffers dead, several unrelated fringe extremist groups have surfaced claiming the shooting was a consequence of ongoing oppression of trans people in southern, more conservative states. One such group, the Trans Radical Activist Network, TRAN, seemingly took notice of this chaos and used the opportunity to rebrand a planned 3-day procession previously called the Trans Day of Visibility as a Day of Vengeance. Posters advertising the procession have been published and shared rapidly on platforms such as Twitter, which confirmed Wednesday it had already removed more than 5,000 posts promoting the event. According to several sin-scrubbed advertisements, the event is still to be held in Washington, D.C., as scheduled. From Friday until Sunday, the revelers wrote they would march on the country's most important court building at 11 a.m. Saturday. The demonstration currently occurring in Nashville served as a preview of what could be in store for public officials Washington once the weekend rolls around, with footage taken from the scene showing hundreds descending on Tennessee's foremost legislation building in a fight for tighter gun laws. Prior to forcing themselves into the building, hundreds were seen gathering outside airing chants of "Save Our Children," phrase that reportedly echoed through the hallways between the state Senate and House chambers this afternoon. Some remained peaceful as they filed into the Senate building, while others yelled at officials trying to make their way into areas protected by police. Officers attempted to keep the rally confined to certain areas, but 2 Democratic lawmakers caused a temporary shutdown when they joined in on the revelry. "Power to the people," State Senator Charlene Oliver was heard screaming through a megaphone, a chant that hundreds of others who had gathered in the House emphatically repeated. Most remained peaceful, while others were seen battling with officers tasked with keeping a clamp on the unrest. Several young children were spotted inside the Capitol building during the general disarray in the Senate chambers gallery, despite many adults being removed amid a series of heated displays. It is not clear if any of the protesters were arrested, though if the display in Kentucky is any indicator, that could very well be the case. That pro-trans procession, seen on Wednesday, saw 19 in total arrested, after dozens also made their way into the state's capital ahead of a planned vote on whether to override a veto from the state's Democratic governor against a controversial new bill that would ban medical treatments for transgender youth. Also Republican-dominated, the Republican-led Senate overwhelmingly voted to override Governor Andy Beshear's veto, likely fueling unrest seen Thursday regarding conservative-run states and their often more lax gun laws. In the case of Kentucky, several protesters were also seen shouting at Republican reps, as well as Speaker of the House David Osborne, before being physically removed by state police. The 19 arrested, angered by the prospective passing of a law that would limit medical treatments for transgender people under 18, were charged with third-degree criminal trespassing. They were only charged and arrested after officers gave each the option to leave without any enforcement action or be placed under arrest, a state police spokesperson said. Amid this unrest, the aforementioned Trans Radical Activist Network is still set to descend on Washington, D.C., Friday, marching on the Supreme Court Saturday supposedly at 11 a.m. sharp. On their website, they cite gender-affirming care ban bills and the political climate as motives for the demonstration. But commentators are up in arms over the decision to go ahead with the protest as police say they are investigating the role of Nashville shooter Hale's gender identity and a sense of resentment That may have inspired the attack on the shooter's Christian former school. And as at least 11 states have enacted laws restricting or banning gender-affirming care for minors, almost all being southern states with relaxed gun control laws. Further feelings of resentment have been felt from left-wing groups like the Trans Radical Activist Network, leading Twitter to take precautions by removing thousands of posts advertising the event over the past 2 days. The upcoming protest was initially to be called the Trans Day of Visibility, but rebranded as Vengeance Means Fighting Back with Vehemence, the group said. It is our battle cry to declare to the world that we the transgender/non-binary communities will neither be silenced nor eradicated. Distancing themselves from Hale, the group published a statement on their website ahead of the event. Witsukuru, co-founder,
Our Rights DC, and Tran are horrified at the acts of violence committed at the Covenant School on March 27,
2023. We grieve for Evelyn Dieckhaus, Hallie Scruggs, William Kinney, Cynthia Peake, Catherine Kuntz, and Mike Hill, and with their loved ones. We also reject any connection between that horrific event and outs. Vengeance means fighting back with vehemence. We are fighting against false narratives, criminalization, and eradication of our existence. Tran also said that due to a hate received they had disabled their contact form.
We're going to see